everyone, welcome back. So in previous class we discussed about the kingdom Animalia, the general characters of the kingdom Animalia, and also about the phylum Porifera, isn't it? So today I'm going to explain about the another kingdom, another phylum in the animal kingdom, that is the phylum Coelenterata. The phylum Coelenterata. Okay, so where you have studied about the phylum Porifera, isn't it? So where that is having cellular grade of organization, so then having some special kinds of cells, okay, like collar cells, which mainly helps in capturing the prey, then amoebocytes, isn't it? So there are several characters that you have studied in the phylum Porifera. Okay, so let us discuss about the next phylum, that is phylum Coelenterata. Okay, see here, the phylum Coelenterata, it is also regarded as Cnidaria. Phylum Cnidaria. Coelenterata or Cnidaria, that is mainly because of the characteristic feature, that is the presence of the cells, some special cells, what is known as cnidoblast cells. Cnidoblast cells. Okay, so because of the presence of these cells, cnidoblast cells, the phylum Coelenterata is also known as Cnidaria. Okay, so it is known as Coelenterata mainly because see here, seal means cavity. Seal means cavity. Then enteron. Enteron means like intestine. Enteron means intestine. Okay, it means that the animals which are having gastrovascular cavity. The animals are having gastrovascular cavity. Gastrovascular cavity is gastro means you know that it is digestion. It is meant for digestion. Vascular means distribution. So the animals belongs to the phylum Coelenterata. They have a cavity, but not the coelom. Remember, there is no coelom. They are acoelomic animals. They have a cavity, and that cavity is meant for digestion, and also it is responsible for distribution of the food. Hence, it is considered as a gastrovascular cavity. Because of the presence of such kind of cavity, the gastrovascular cavity, these animals are considered as, are named as Coelenterata. They were named as Cnidaria mainly because of the presence of some special kind of cells, that is what is called as a cnidoblast. Okay, so because of these cnidoblasts, they were named as Cnidaria. Okay, so there are nearly 10,000 species which were reported from this phylum. All of them are aquatic. The phylum is represented by about 10,000 species, and all of them they are aquatic. That too, most of the forms are marine. Only few forms are freshwater forms. For example, like Hydra. So this is a freshwater form, but majority of them or most of them are marine forms. Okay. Only few of them are freshwater forms. So let us look into the general characters of the phylum Coelenterata. So it may be asked for 5 marks. Okay. See, the phylum Coelenterata, they are multicellular organisms. They are multicellular organisms with tissue grade of organization. Remember, grade of organization. With tissue grade of organization. Coelenterata animals which are multicellular and with tissue grade of organization. Okay. So they are the true animals. So they comes under, hence they comes under Eumetazoa. They are the true animals and which comes under Eumetazoa. It means they are multicellular animals with tissue grade of organization can be seen. You compare with Porifera, so where Porifera members are having cellular grade of organization, isn't it? So but here these animals, they show tissue grade of organization. There are definite tissues which are produced here. So where we can see like the digestive tissue, then muscle tissue, like that. There are some definite tissues can be seen in these animals. Hence they exhibit tissue grade of organization. Okay, so these animals, they exhibit radial symmetry. The animals exhibit radial symmetry. They exhibit radial symmetry. You know what is radial symmetry, isn't it? So then the animals are diploblastic in nature. Coelenterata animals, here the animals are diploblastic in nature. It means they possess an outer ectoderm. They possess an outer ectoderm and an inner endoderm. An outer ectoderm or an inner endoderm. So endoderm is the inner layer, and whereas ectoderm is the outer layer. Okay, and in between that there is a gelatinous there is a gelatinous, in between the ectoderm and the endoderm, there is a gelatinous matrix, what is called as mesoglia is present. In between ectoderm and endoderm, there is a gelatinous matrix is found, and that is what is called as mesoglia. Okay. So animals are diploblastic. It means they are having two germ layers, the ectoderm, the outer ectoderm and the inner endoderm. And between that ectoderm and the endoderm, there is a gelatinous matrix is found, and that gelatinous matrix is what is called as mesoglia. Okay. Then the animals, these animals, they have, when we see the body plan, you know, the animal is having the blind sac body plan. So these animals are having blind sac body plan. They are having blind sac body plan. What is this blind sac body plan? It means an animal is having a single opening, that is both for the entry of the food and for the ejection of the undigested food. It means the single opening that can act as both the mouth as well as the anus, isn't it? So such a body plan is what is called as blind sac body plan. So these animals, they possess a mouth, and that can act for ingestion of the food and also for the ejection of the undigested food. Okay, so hence the animals are having blind sac body plan. Okay. So then the mouth, in these animals, the mouth is surrounded by, usually the mouth gets surrounded by the structures, what is called as tentacles. The mouth usually surrounded by the structures what is called as tentacles. Suppose if you see the jelly comb, you know, that is what is called as the Arelia. So where it will bear tentacles like this. Okay. So or if you see in case of Hydra, so where you will find tentacles like this. If it is Hydra, you will find tentacles like this. So these are the tentacles. Okay. So what is these tentacles? They are nothing but they are the halotubular structures. Okay. They mainly meant for capturing the prey. Okay. And also directing the food towards the mouth. Tentacles are mainly meant for capturing the prey. They are nothing but halotubular structures. They are mainly meant for capturing. They are prey hidiyodukke. And also it is meant for transferring or directing the food towards the mouth. Andre mouth kadege food anna direct madodakke. So these animals, they bears the structures, or the mouth gets surrounded by or encircled by the structures what is called as tentacles. Okay. The very important feature of this phylum, the most characteristic feature of the phylum, that is the presence of cnidoblast. The cells what is called as cnidoblast. That is the most important and characteristic feature of the phylum. Okay. So the presence of cnidoblast is the characteristic feature of the phylum Coelenterata. Okay, or that's why they were named as Cnidaria. So cnidoblasts are nothing but they are the special kind of cells. They are also known as stinging cells. They are also called as stinging cells. So majorly found in tentacles. They are also called as stinging cells. They were majorly found in tentacles and also in the ectoderm. It means the outer surface of the body. And these cnidoblasts are the stinging cells. They have special kind of cell organelles what is called as nematocysts. Nematocysts. They possess or they bear very special kinds of cell organelles what is called as nematocysts. Mainly the cells which are responsible are functioning in paralyzing the prey. Once they catch the prey, you know, because these animals are majorly carnivorous. Carnivorous means they mainly eats upon other animals, the other smaller animals. Okay. So they capture the prey. After capturing the prey, you know, the tentacles they possess these cnidoblasts and they are having the structures what is called as nematocysts. They inject a poisonous substance to the prey. Okay, and that is what is called as hypnotoxin. Hypnotoxin is a poisonous substance that is secreted by the cells of the cnidoblast, especially that is by the cell organelles what is called as nematocysts. Nematocysts are the special cell organelles which are found in the cnidoblast or the stinging cells. Majorly the cells responsible for paralyzing the prey, okay, by injecting some poison. Once it captures the prey, you know, it should not escape. For that reason, what it will do, it will inject the poisonous substance into the prey. So that poisonous substance is what is called as hypnotoxin. Thereby the prey will be paralyzed. It cannot move further. So after that, it will eat that prey. Okay. So that is the characteristic feature of the phylum. Remember, presence of nidoblast or the stinging cells. Okay, it is the most important feature. That's why the phylum is named as Coelenterata. Especially, you know, the jellyfishes, which are most dangerous, even for they are even fatal for human beings also. Okay, if they are found in the shallow water, so or if along with that, if they get stick to the fish nets, in larger scale fisheries ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಫಿಶ್ ನೆಸ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಶಾಲೋ ವಾಟರ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಓಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಿ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಶಾಲೋ ವಾಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದು ಸಪೋಸ್ ಆ ಸ್ಟಿಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಪಾಯ್ಸನ್ ಇಂಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫೇಟಲ್ ಫಾರ್ even for human beings also, because they are that much poisonous in nature. Okay, especially the jellyfishes and other Coelenterata members. Okay, because they possess the structures what is called as nidoblast, and they are having the cell organelles, the structures what is called as nematocyst within them, and they produce a toxic substance what is called as hypnotoxin. Okay, so that is the characteristic feature of the phylum Cnidaria. So then these phylum, the animals of the phylum, they possess a chitinous exoskeleton. Some animals of this phylum, they possess chitinous exoskeleton. It means it is made up of chitin-like substance. Chitinous exoskeleton, that is what is called as a perisarc. A chitinous exoskeleton, what is called as perisarc in animals like Obelia. Okay, so Obelia as an animal belongs to the phylum Coelenterata, so where it is possessing a chitinous exoskeleton, and it may be calcareous. It is just like a calcareous shell. It's just like the exoskeleton may be calcareous shell in case of corals. ಹವಳದ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಅದು. So it may be calcareous shell in case of corals, because coral surface is very much hard. That is mainly because of the presence of accumulation of calcium carbonate in them. So it may be calcareous shell in case of corals. Corals also belongs to the phylum Coelenterata. Okay, and also there is no exoskeleton. No exoskeleton can be seen. No exoskeleton in Arelia. Arelia means jellyfishes. Where the body surface is very smooth. Okay, and it is very smooth and soft, muzzle-like body can be seen in Arelia. Arelia is nothing but the jellyfish. Okay, so where it lacks the exoskeleton, and even in Hydra also. Okay, but some animals, they possess the exoskeleton either made up of chitinous perisarc, or it is made up of calcareous shell in case of corals, or there is no exoskeleton in Hydra as well as in Arelia. Okay, so the next property is about the digestion. See here, the digestion, as they possess a digestive cavity with a single opening, that is what is called as the mouth, and that can act as both the entry of the food as well as for the digestion of the food. And digestion here in these animals, that takes place both extracellular, the digestion is extracellular, both it is extracellular as well as it is intracellular. So both the kind of digestion can be seen, both the extracellular digestion and intracellular digestion, that can be seen in these animals. Okay, so digestion is both extracellular as well as it is intracellular. Extracellular digestion means it takes place within the digestive system. Digestive system means as they are possessing gastrovascular cavity, you know, it means the coelenteron or the cavity. So within that also the digestion that takes place, that is said to be extracellular digestion. And whereas the digestion is intracellular also, it means it takes place within the cells. Okay, so as like in poriferans, you know, where in porifera animals the digestion is totally intracellular. Similarly, both the kind of digestion that can be seen here, that is digestion, it may be extracellular, that takes place in gastrovascular cavity or the coelenteron, or the digestion is maybe intracellular also. Okay, then when we see the other characters, like here the respiratory, circulatory, then excretory systems which are absent. The respiratory, circulatory and excretory system which are absent, or it is needed. Needed means it to be developed, but the respiratory or excretory or circulatory systems which are not present in these animals. So the respiration as well as the excretion that takes place by means of simple diffusion mechanism. Okay. So hence these systems were absent. Okay. So then they have a very primitive nervous system. They have very primitive nervous system without brain. They have very primitive nervous system without the structure what is called as a brain. Okay. They simply have nerve fibers. They simply have nerve fibers. Nerve fibers means they are nothing but the thin thread or network like fibers can be seen. So thin thread like nerves can be seen without the brain or without a complex nervous system. So hence nervous system is very much primitive and that consists of simply diffused nerve fiber. Diffuse agiranta nerve fibers na nodabodu. But nervous definite nervous system anta illa. Okay, they simply have a diffused nerve fibers without the brain. Okay. So then when it comes to the reproduction, so these animals they reproduce both asexually as well as sexually. The animals of Coelenterata they reproduce both asexually. They reproduce both asexually as well as sexually. So both the type of reproduction can be seen. The asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction can be seen here. Asexual reproduction that takes place by means of budding. Asexual reproduction it takes place by means of budding. So for example in case of hydra, so where it will develops the bud and the bud that can germinates like this. It will develop the bud and that bud that will produces the new organism. So this is a bud. What is a bud? A bud is nothing but an extra outgrowth that is produced from the surface of an animal or surface of the cell. Or for example yeast andre cell surface inda ಒಂದು outgrowth formation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಸೆಲ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂದು ಔಟ್ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಔಟ್ಗ್ರೋತ್ ಗೆ ಹೊಸ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ನ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಎಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇನಂತೀವಿ ಬಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ and that process is what is called as budding. Okay, so and mainly the sexual reproduction that takes place by the formation of gametes. The sexual reproduction takes place by the formation of gametes. Okay, so here the development is said to be indirect. The development is indirect. Indirect means they includes a larval stage or they includes a larval form. Development is indirect. So and the larval stage is what is called as planula. Okay, the larval stage is what is known as the most common larva is planula. Remember the larva of Coelenterata animals it is what is regarded as planula. Development is indirect and the larval stage is regarded as planula. Sexual reproduction takes place by the formation of gametes. Okay, then the life cycle of coelentrates that includes two forms. There are two forms can be seen in life cycle. Two forms can be seen in the life cycle. So one is the polyp stage. One is the polyp stage. Another one is the medusa stage. One is polyp stage. Another one is the medusa stage. Polyp stage is nothing but it is a asexual. It is the asexual sedentary stage. It is a asexual sedentary stage. It is immovable. They cannot move. They are non-mobile. Okay, asexual sedentary stage that is what is called as a polyp stage. Okay, and whereas medusa stage it is nothing but the sexual. Remember the two terms polyp and the medusa. They are very important. The sexual this is a sexual stage and this is mobile. Mobile means this is motile. So both the polyp as well as medusa stage can be seen. The polyp stage is asexual stage and it is sedentary, whereas the medusa is the sexual stage and it is a mobile phase. Mobile means it is movable. So where these forms, there are two forms in the life cycle. Okay, so it means they are said to be the coelenterate animal. They exhibit polymorphism. It means they can be seen in varieties of forms, especially the two major forms like polyp and the medusa. Polyp stage is nothing but this is the asexual phase. It means in this phase the animal reproduces asexually. This is the asexual phase and they are sedentary. Sedentary means they are non-motile. Whereas the medusa stage is the one and this is a sexual stage. So where this form that produces the gametes, it means they are alternating with each other. But not all animals belongs to the Coelenterata showing both the stages. Some of them they are showing only the polyp stage and some they are showing only the medusa. Some they are showing both the polyp as well as the medusa stage. Okay. But medusa stage is a sexual stage. So where the animal is motile in that stage or they are mobile in that stage. Okay. So hence the life cycle that includes the two forms. One is a polyp form, one is a polyp stage, another one is a medusa stage. Okay, you remember this one. So then we look into the examples of the phylum Coelenterata. Okay, so the phylum Coelenterata that mainly represented by some animals like Hydra, then Physalia, then Obelia, Fungia, then sea anemone, then Aurelia. Aurelia means commonly known as jellyfish, Aurelia, etc. Okay, Hydra, Physalia, Obelia, Fungia, sea anemone, then Aurelia. So these are some common forms or some examples for the phylum Coelenterata. Okay. So this phylum Coelenterata is divided into three classes. Like Hydrozoa, then Anthozoa, and Scyphozoa. There are three forms can be seen in the phylum. There are three classes can be seen in the phylum: Hydrozoa, Anthozoa, and Scyphozoa. So whereas Hydrozoa, this is freshwater forms. This is a freshwater form, for example, like Hydra. And there are marine forms also. The freshwater as well as marine forms also can be seen. The freshwater form is Hydra, and the marine water forms like Physalia. So both the forms can be seen. The freshwater form as well as the marine forms that can be seen in the class Hydrozoa. So freshwater form is Hydra, and whereas marine form is Physalia, and possessing both the polyp as well as medusa stage. Okay. So then class Anthozoa, so where they are exclusively marine. Anthozoa members, they are exclusively marine, and where they possess the medusa stage, where here in these animals the medusa stage is dominant, whereas polyp stage is reduced. Or absent. Medusa is dominant in this, but the Hydrozoa, they possess both the polyp as well as medusa stage. But these members, Anthozoa members, where medusa stage is dominant, where polyp stage is reduced or it is absent. Okay. So then the class Scyphozoa. So for this example, Aurelia means jellyfish. Okay. Class Scyphozoa, so they are also exclusively marine. So there is also exclusively their marine forms, and here the polyp stage is dominant. Reverse that. Polyp stage is dominant. So medusa stage is reduced. Example, polyp is dominant and medusa is reduced. Example, Fungia, commonly called as corals. Okay. Example, Fungia, commonly known as corals. Okay. So this is about the general characters and classification of the phylum Coelenterata. So the phylum Coelenterata, I repeat once. Phylum Coelenterata, the animals which are possessing tissue grade of organization and also the diploblastic in nature. The characteristic feature is the presence of the gastrovascular system. They encloses a cavity what is called as coelenteron, and another major important thing is they are acoelomic animals. They do not possess coelom, but they exhibit a cavity that is what is called as gastrocele or the gastrovascular cavity, and they possess a special kind of cells what is called as nidoblast. And these nidoblasts, they are also known as stinging cells. They exhibit the special cell organelles what is called as the nematocyst. Okay, so they are majorly meant for capturing the prey and paralyzing the prey by secreting the toxic substances. Another important thing, the mouth is encircled by tentacles. Tentacles are nothing but hollow tubular structures which are mainly responsible for capturing the prey, then directing the food towards the mouth. Okay, and the animal exhibit blind sac body plan because they have only one opening. So through that opening only there will be an ingestion of the food and digestion of undigested food that takes place. So where they exhibit the two alternative forms, one is a polyp stage, another one is a medusa stage. So that is very important. So polyp is a sedentary phase and it is asexual phase, whereas medusa is a sexual form and that is the motile one. Okay. So this is about, and the larval form is planula, that is the larva of the phylum Coelenterata. So this is about the general characters of the phylum Coelenterata. Okay, so then the next phylum, that is phylum Ctenophora. Phylum Ctenophora. So this is an intermediate phylum between Radiata and Bilateria, because the animal which exhibit biradial symmetry. So these animals, the animals of the phylum Ctenophora. So let us discuss about this. The Ctenophora. So where these animals, they are intermediate between Radiata and Bilateria, because they exhibit biradial symmetry. The animals which is represented by about 100 species. The phylum is represented by about 100 species, and all are exclusively they are marine forms. All are exclusively they are marine forms, and there are about 100 species can be seen, and they are exclusively marine. And the animal, as I said, they exhibit biradial symmetry. They exhibit biradial symmetry. It means both the bilateral symmetry as well as the radial symmetry. Hence, these animals, they are intermediate between the group Bilateria and Radiata. Okay. So let us look into the characters of the phylum Ctenophora. So these animals, they are multicellular in nature, and they exhibit tissue grade of organization. The animals exhibit tissue grade of organization. So these animals are also multicellular, and they exhibit tissue grade of organization. Okay, it means they possess different kinds of tissues. Hence, these animals, the grade of organization in these animals is tissue grade of organization. Okay, and the next point is about these animals are diploblastic in nature. The animals are diploblastic. So you know that the diploblastic animals are nothing but they possess the two germ layers. So one is an ectoderm, the outer ectoderm. One is an ectoderm, the outer ectoderm, and the inner one is what is known as the endoderm. The outer ectodermal layer and the inner layer is what is called as the endoderm. So hence the animals are diploblastic in nature. Okay. Then you know that it is similar to Coelenterata. In between the ectoderm and the endoderm, there is a gelatinous matrix is present. A non-cellular gelatinous matrix is present, and that is what is called as mesoglia. A gelatinous matrix is present, and that is what is called as mesoglia. And also another speciality in these animals, the mesoglia that consists of some special cells. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ animals ಅಲ್ಲೂ diploblastic ಇದೆ. Ectoderm ಮತ್ತು endoderm ಎರಡು germ layers ಇದೆ, outer ectoderm and the inner endoderm. Ectoderm and endoderm in between ಏನಿದೆ, there is a mesoglia. The gelatinous mesoglia is present. And one speciality here in mesoglia that consists of some cells, some special cells like amoebocytes. Some cells like amoebocytes are present. So then muscle cells are present. Okay, and some other sensory cells can be seen. So because of the presence of some of the cells in the mesoglia, so the animal can be showing the triploblastic nature, can be showing, but not actually. There is no three germ layers. There are no three germ layers per se. The animal is diploblastic, no doubt in that. But the gelatinous matrix, that is showing some cells. It is cellular in nature. So because it is showing some cells like amoebocytes or muscle cells, that can be seen in the mesoglia. Okay. So next, when we see the other characters of the phylum Ctenophora, so in these animals, the presence of some characteristic cells, they are what is called as coloblast. Remember, coloblast. The presence of characteristic cells, they are called as coloblast or lasso cells. This is the unique feature of the phylum Ctenophora. Presence of coloblast or the lasso cells is the unique feature or the characteristic feature of the phylum Ctenophora. Okay. So where the chloroplasts or the lasso cells are nothing but they are the adhesive cells. They are the adhesive cells. Adhesive cells means they helps in capturing the prey. They stick to the surface of the prey because of their adhesive nature. Okay, so they are adhesive in nature. Adhesive means they are slimy antra antantiranta nature irutte. They will stick to the surface of the prey. They mainly helps in capturing the prey. Prey capture ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ help ಮಾಡೋ ಅಂತ cells. ಅದು coloblast or the lasso cells. They are nothing but the adhesive cells. that can be seen in the phylum Ctenophora. So that is the unique feature of the phylum. Okay. So then, when it comes to the digestive system, digestive system here it is said to be complete. Digestive system is said to be complete. So they exhibit complete digestive system. Complete digestive system means here they possess the mouth, then the pharynx, and a small part what is called as the stomach or represent a stomach, a very small part that represents the stomach, and two anal pores. Hence here the digestive system is said to be complete. There is a mouth. What is a complete digestive system means the digestive system that starts from the mouth and ends with the anus. That is what is called as a complete digestive system. Okay. Here also we can see the digestive system is complete. So where the mouth, the pharynx and the small stomach, and it consists of two anal pores that can be seen. Okay. Hence it is considered as complete digestive system. So where the digestion is mainly extracellular. The digestion is mainly extracellular and also the digestion is intracellular. But the major mode of digestion is extracellular as they possess digestive cavity. Hence the digestion is extracellular and also you can see intracellular digestion also. Okay. So, but the main mode is the extracellular digestion as they possess the digestive cavity. Here the digestion is said to be complete, that is mainly because it starts with the mouth, it consists of pharynx and stomach, and where it possesses two anal pores. Hence it is said to be the complete digestive system. Okay. So then when it comes to the other systems, the respiratory system, the excretory system and the other systems like the circulatory system, respiratory, then excretory and circulatory systems. Respiratory, excretory and circulatory systems which are absent or they are needed. There is no respiratory system, there is no excretory system and there is no circulatory system. Hence the respiratory, excretory and circulatory systems which are absent. Okay. So again similarly to the Coelenterata members, these are also having primitive nervous system. These animals are also having primitive nervous system. Okay, with the diffused nerve fibers. Hence the nervous system is primitive with the diffused nerve fiber. ಅಂದ್ರೆ nerve fibers ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, nerve ganglia ಆಗಲಿ brain ಆಗಲಿ ಅದರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. Hence nervous system is said to be very much primitive with the diffused nerve fibers. Okay. So one most important characteristic feature of the phylum Ctenophora, a name ಬಂದಿರೋದು ಯಾಕೆ? Why they were named as Ctenophora? That is mainly because of their locomotory structures. So here locomotion that takes place by means of comb plate. Locomotion that takes place by structure what is called as comb plate. Comb plate ಅನ್ನೋ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಇಂದ ಲೋಕೋಮೋಷನ್. ಏನಿದು comb plate ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, so this comb plate is nothing but this is a structure majorly responsible for or helps in locomotion of these animals, and this possesses 8 meridional rows, 8 ciliary rows. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 8 meridional rows ಅಥವಾ ciliary rows ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is just like a comb ಯಾವ ತರ ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 8 rows ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಲೋಕೋಮೋಟರಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, just like this, just like a comb. That's why the Teno refers to comb ಅಂತ. These animals are popularly known as or commonly known as comb jellies. ಇವನ್ನ ನಾವು comb jellies ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Comb jellies. ಯಾಕೆ comb jellies ಅಂತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, that is because of the presence of such locomotory structures what is called as comb plate. Comb plate ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 8 ciliary rows ಇರುತ್ತೆ. They consist of 8 ciliary rows. Okay, just like a comb. Hence these animals are considered as comb jellies, are popularly known as comb jellies, and the name Ctenophora, that is because of that. Cteno means comb, phora means bearing. So that's why they are popularly or commonly known as comb jellies. That is because of the presence of comb plate that helps in locomotion. Okay, so that is one of the unique feature of the phylum Ctenophora. Okay. Then when it comes to the sensory part, these animals they possess some sensory cells. They possess some sensory cells or sensory structures, that is nothing but statocyst. statocyst. So these are sensory in nature and also they are meant for equilibrium. Equilibrium means balancing the animal body. Statocyst are the sensory structures, are the sensory organs, with the cells which can be seen here. They are nothing but the statocyst and they helps in equilibrium andre body balancing. Okay, so equilibrium alli help madanta structures yadu statocyst. So that is also one of the unique feature of the phylum Ctenophora. Okay, so then when it comes to the reproduction, the reproduction here, the animals are hermaphrodites. Remember, just like the poriferans. So here also the animals are hermaphrodites or monoecious. What is a hermaphrodite animal? The animals are hermaphrodite or monoecious. Monoecious. Okay, so monoecious animals are nothing but the hermaphrodite animal where that possess both the male and female structures, male and female gonads, or male and female sex cells, which are produced by the same animal. Andre onde animal alli male matte female gonads eradu ondralle idre, andre testicles ovaries eradu ondralle idre, avaga navu enantivi hermaphrodites animal anta karitivi. So here also the animals of Ctenophora, they are hermaphrodites. Okay, so where the development is indirect, so reproduction that takes place sexually, because the animals are hermaphrodite, they produce both the sperm as well as the ova. After that, the development is indirect and it includes a larval stage, what is called as cydipid larva. They includes a larval stage called as cydipid larva. Remember the larval stages of different phylum. Amphiblastula and Parenchyma, they are the larval stages in Porifera, whereas Planula is the larval stage in Coelenterata. Then cydipid larva, this is the larval stage in the phylum Ctenophora. Okay, so remember this. So hence the development is said to be indirect in nature. Okay. Then the example is Pleurobrachia, then Xenia. Some examples are Pleurobrachia. Examples of the animals belongs to the phylum Ctenophora is Pleurobrachia and Xenia, etc. Okay, so this is about the phylum Ctenophora. So remember, the phylum Ctenophora are popularly or commonly known as comb jellies, and they exhibit tissue grade of organization. So they are diploblastic in nature, possess ectoderm and the endoderm, and in between that there is a mesoglia, and the mesoglia also, that is cellular in nature, consists of some cells like amoebocytes and muscle cells can be seen in the mesoglia. So hence they exhibit the triploblastic nature. Okay, so but they are basically the diploblastic animals. So then the presence of the equilibrium structures, what is called as statocyst, that is also one of the unique feature of the phylum Ctenophora. Then presence of digestive system consists of mouth, pharynx and the stomach, where it ends with the two anal pores. So a complete digestive system, that is also one unique feature in the phylum Ctenophora. And very important thing, they exhibit biradial symmetry. Hence they are the intermediate animals between the radiata and bilateria. So that is also one important thing. So then presence of comb plate for the locomotion, so that is also one important thing. Then the animals are hermaphrodite in nature, so development is indirect and they possess the larval stage, what is called as cydipid larva. Okay, so this is about the general characters of the phylum Ctenophora and Coelenterata. Okay, so in next video I will deal with other two phylums. Okay, so we shall start with the group what is called as bilateria, so where the animal exhibit the bilateral symmetry, so like the Platyhelminthes and also the Aschelminthes. So in next video I will take up with the two phylums. Okay, thank you.